Hey there, it's Fresh Mark Sense and another fresh review. Today I'll be reviewing L'Eau de Issey pour Homme Or Encens by Issey Miyake. Now this is a kind of gothic, dark rose, masculine, leather, labdanum, rose and incense combination. It's got other notes, but I feel that it's centered around the incense and the labdanum note, which has a very strong hold on this perfume and lends to its dark, gothic or sort of feel. So the box is as shown. It's got gold on the side, was a black writing. Check it out. Comes here like this. Away. And then, oh, it's got this at the bottom. Check that. So yeah, so it has a little gradient to it from light to dark and whatever. So enough about that. The fragrance, I sprayed this on about 3 hours ago, and when I smell it, I get a leathery. Sorry, I get the spice as well. So cumin, that's what makes me really cough, and hay fever sometimes. But cumin, labdanum, which is a dark black leather sort of nuance, like a black leather jacket, but a bit more musky. You get a sort of honeyed rose effect because the rose is there. It's as a top note, but it's masculine because although it's a typical pink rose, it has it's more toned down in its sweetness because of the labdanum and the incense to sort of break up the feel. And it has a very austere kind of feel. It's quite pretentious almost because it's quite dark and quite regal in its own way, in a sort of Dracula-esque way. But I'd say that this is a romantic perfume, definitely. But for somebody who, if you actually know the person, then you'd actually conjure up those feelings. But other than that, it doesn't necessarily draw people towards you because it is quite dark and mysterious. The Or Encens is supposed to be a culmination of different incense that will be mystifying and almost shroud you in an austere, resinous sort of elixir. And this, when I smell, there's amberwood, sandalwood in the base, and there's some cumin in the middle with pink pepper. Now the pink pepper with the rose note makes it a tiny bit sweeter. The incense breaks it down. The sandalwood gives it a nice creaminess to create first the incense creates a smoke, and the overall scent cloud is creamy because of the sandalwood. It doesn't have any vanilla in because it's not a sweet perfume. It's definitely a masculine perfume, but the sweetness is coming from the rose, and it's really divided up between the incense and the different smoky and the only sweetness is coming from the sandalwood, I'd say. It's only coming from natural sources. There's no sort of candied or unnatural element about it. It's very raw, let's say. It's very raw for a rose perfume, which you would think would be quite dainty or elegant. This has, I think, the austere or strength of this perfume comes from how the rose note is encapsulated by a dark cloud, this labdanum, incense and sandalwood. There is some amberwood in the base, but I feel it just adds to it does slightly add to the sweetness in an ambery way, in an ambery sweet resinous way, but it doesn't overpower it to make it a cloyingly sweet or anything like that. This is not 1 million or anything like that. This is definitely dark side of the moon, resinous. This is let's spray it on the top note. This is, yeah, and the dry down, it feels like it's mixed of a honeyed rose with a plum note, because the labdanum it goes from its leathery, thick black leather stage to a sweeter, more effervescent mix, which is more smoky and cloudy. And when it opens up, the sweetness is definitely there and it's amplified by the pink pepper, which gives it a sort of, I always feel that pink pepper gives us a sort of a pineapple feel, but it definitely doesn't smell like pineapple, but it definitely has a little fruity spark in the beginning because of that pink pepper and the resins from the amberwood. But then that's quickly made musky by the very somber pink rose. It's a pink rose, but more of a damask rose. It has a full flavor, but it's very dark and somber, and light in its sweetness, and quite effervescent, quite powdery. So the powderiness is replaced by the resins and the smoke. So that's what I really love about the change of this perfume, and I definitely recommend it for autumn, not winter. Autumn and winter, and not summer, because I got this in summer and I just sprayed it, and 6 hours later I still got that kind of, not really smoky, but dark leather and sweet honeyed rose. And the sweet honeyed rose did come off as a bit cloying in the summer, but in the autumn, on a jacket, on a wool jacket, it would be perfect. And I'd recommend to spray it on a jacket rather than the skin, because if you go indoors you might want to wear a sweeter perfume, or maybe a vanilla perfume that would sort of lighten the incense and turn the plum into a plum and vanilla mix, and that would be a lot more warming and maybe reminiscent of Gourlane Extreme or something, the one with the plum and leather, but a little bit better, because this is sweet, smoky, austere, a little bit gothic, definitely a leather and rose perfume foremost, and that incense definitely helps it along to create a very dark and rich atmosphere about it. So check this out for autumn and winter, rainy days or even cold days. L'Eau d'Issey pour Homme Or Encens by Issey Miyake. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and if you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because that will let you know every time I do a new video. Take care and stay fresh.